Okay, finally, four amazing ladies here. And I want to tell you, these ladies are, we introduce you here. We have Charlotte Lindsay. She is the owner of Studio Cellar, very successful lady. She's done her business for about 10 years now. She's also an investor in town. We have Lucinda Ellis, who actually started her business back in 2011, right? That's right. Very successful and solid lady here. We have Nell Fuller, who's actually starting a co-working space. It's like social club by women for women. Very interesting concept here in Colombia. And of course, Jada Willis from HR Willis, very successful. Now she's been featured nationally as well as La Center. And now I'm gonna bring Tom Ledbetter, who's actually gonna be our moderator. So let's give him an applause.
Good morning, everyone. Before I say anything else, I want to say two things. First of all, two of these people sitting on the stage here are fast track course graduates. You know, they've come through the fast track program. And the other two are just waiting to get engaged. And secondly, within Business Technical College, we are now pretty well sure that we're referring to entrepreneurship as intentional self-employment. Okay? So when you see my hashtag intentional self-employment, chime in there and we'll get going. We are thrilled to have these young ladies with us this morning, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them to give as close to a 30-second elevator pitch as they can to get started. All right, so introduce yourself and go. Who wants to go first? Who's got the microphone? Jamie.
I love it. So my name is Jana Willis. I am owner and founder of Willis HR. We're an HR consulting and recruiting firm. And essentially we provide outsourced services to small businesses, anywhere from 5 employees to 250 employees. What I'd like to say is we're going to help you with your employees from hire to retire.
21 seconds, that's pretty good.
Come on,
All right.
that's right.
Do you understand who she is and what she does now? Right? That's the essence of that. Lucinda.
Good morning, I'm Lucinda Lewis Ellis. I own LLE Construction Group. I'm a licensed general contractor and we perform facility maintenance and management, project and construction management, and also general contracting work for school districts, colleges, universities, and commercial building owners. And I just recently started LLE Consulting, where I'll start working with small women and minority business owners and help you grow and scale your business.
26 seconds. All right, that's very good. All right, that's very good. All right, Charlotte.
Hello, I'm Charlotte Gaskins, owner of Studio Cellar, which is a local paint and sip studio right downtown in the Vista. It is for people with no prior skills of painting that can do classes or freestyle and sip some wine while they do it. It's also an event venue, so you can have special occasion events there. The success of the studio has actually catapulted me now into commercial real estate as well, where I own several properties in residential and commercial real estate.
Thank you. 21 seconds. Very good. All right. Now.
Hi, I'm Nell Fuller, and I'm the co-founder of Fem Capital, and we're opening Fem by Columbia, which is a social club and co-work space designed by women. So we create spaces where women and men who support women can work and move forward and have some fun.
Excellent. Let's give them a hand. All right. Also, I know at least a couple of you have friends or family here today. Would friends or family of the speakers this morning please stand up so we can recognize their support systems? Okay, all of you have been on a journey. You've all gotten to a certain level in this journey, and we have questions about the journey itself. Okay, and I'm going to ask some sensitive questions. You can say, I don't want to answer that question. You know, you can say whatever you'd like to say. Okay. First of all, when you got started, who helped you at first and continue to help you along the way? What assists did you have that you got in your journey?
Okay, I'll start. So I would say when I first started my business, I did not have assistance. And again, I started a construction company. I've been in construction for years prior to starting my business. But every corner that I turned to get support, it was not there. And so that's why I'm so extremely passionate about helping business owners now because of what I went through. But I did learn about the Small Business Development Center and SBA, but I had to kind of find all of that on my own. And once I did, actually back then when I opened in 2011, we did have a women business center in Columbia downtown, and they were instrumental in helping me just kind of think through my business and who my clients were, and kind of helped me move forward in that aspect. Even as of today, from a financial standpoint, I haven't really had support in growing my business from a financial perspective, so I can't really, comment on that. And then I also say, as I've grown my business over the last 9 years, my peers have been such a support for me, just learning from each other. Because when you're a business owner, it seems very lonely at the top, and you can't talk to your employees about issues in the business, right? They might run off scared. She got money issues. We don't know how long I'm gonna get paid, so you have to figure out, who are your peers and how can y'all iron sharpen iron, right? And so I had to join some groups as my business grew, of course, because a lot of the nice, great groups, you got to hit $1 million or more. You got to really be making money to get accepted in some of these groups that make a difference as a business owner. So thank God I was able to hit that milestone, which helped me catapult into a whole different arena of peer-to-peer learning. So I'll pass the mic, but that's what I'll say that has helped me. Thank you.
So I think that I took a little bit of a different approach. I like to view typically competitors as collaborators, if at all possible. Not everyone. So I did a couple things. So I sought out HR consulting, an HR consultant that was doing this, had been doing HR consulting probably for like 10 years in the area. Met with her. It was not as expected. It was actually, she told me that I was crazy for the rate I was going to charge and all this other stuff. Well, thankfully, I decided to then reach out to those actually outside the HR consulting arena and reached out to Greg Hilton. Everyone knows Greg in the room, founder of Women in Cups and SoCo. In addition to that, I also reached out to like pseudo friends in a sense that who were emulating that success in my definition. And I reached out, and I'm not shy whatsoever, so I asked some really tough questions. If they didn't want to answer it, that's totally, it's fine. But I also volunteered and in their business because I wanted to shadow them. I wanted to learn from their decisions. And so Greg Hilton, lawyer Lisa, was another that gave me some awesome advice. And it's also having to sift through what's going to be relevant to me as the business owner and my business, and then also, what is, beneficial as well. And then circling back to that HR, now we've actually formed kind of a cohesive type of group where I've made 3 of my competitors actually we have a circle of trust, we share business, and it's amazing to just learn and grow off of each other.
Some really good stuff there, ladies. For me, honestly, it starts back at the very beginning for me, just having really supportive parents and positive reinforcement all the time, just telling me I could do anything that I set my mind to. So I was fortunate enough to grow up in that sort of environment. And then from there, always making the decision to surround myself with positive people, like-minded people, people that have the same motivation and track for success. That's very important. So you can do yourself a favor and definitely put yourself around people in that arena, mentors, people that are where you want to be in the direction you want to go in. Really everyone can be beneficial and helpful as long as, that's someone that you look up to, someone that can inspire you. I've also been really fortunate to have a significant other that relentlessly and tirelessly dedicates a lot of his life to helping me and my success, and that is very fortunate. So another good point there, surround yourself, pick your partners, pick your friends wisely. And now I'm in a position where I can actually start helping him back in return as well. So that's why I'll say, choose who you hang out with.
So for me, I'm definitely an introvert, and so when I started this whole process, you know, I had my business partner and family, and that was my circle, and we were going to do this. And then I realized I needed to talk to a few more people, so I, you know, met a few more people, and then I had a slightly larger circle, and I was like, okay, this is good. You know, I have 5 or 6 people that I trust. That's good. You know, I don't need any more. And then found out very quickly that that wasn't true either, and I got connected to people like Sergio and Diane, who I consider one of my best mentors, that have pushed me to meet everybody and introduce myself and take a chance and pitch what I want to do and say what I want to say. And so really, starting this process, I was not a people lover. I didn't want to be in a crowd. I didn't want to know everybody. And then now at this point, I realize that that is such a huge support system, is all of the people that I have support from and that I am accountable to at this point to move this dream forward.
Very good. I really like the idea of paint and sip. This can go places. This can go places. Right. Are you going to have something else? Okay. The next question. Describe for the room what you would describe as your leadership style. What kind of leader are you? Versus what kind of leader do you need to be, or what you found as far as leadership policy
You know what's really fun is that I have employees in the audience, and so I really want them to say. I think that I have a very, I'd like to say transformational, collaborative type of approach. And that means that I definitely seek out their opinion. It's the opposite of being a dictator. So yes, I have to make strategic goals and a vision for the organization, that sort of thing. But as much as possible, I loop them in. We're constantly communicating. I constantly am asking just the tough questions of them, but I also encourage them, and I encourage constructive dissent. So if they have a differing opinion, sharing that in a professional way. But also, if they have any feedback for me at any time, sharing that and being open. And then, most importantly, how do you respond whenever they actually do give you some really tough feedback that hurts inside? And then what do you do with that feedback? So it's very much a, I understand having a hierarchy and understanding everyone has a position in the team, that sort of thing. But I want to make sure that my employees feel liked, accepted, and needed. And that's really important just to the mission and vision that we have.
Okay, I'm really big on empowering the people that work around you. I think that's really important to identify what their strengths are and to give them the courage to run with it. And that's kind of my big management/leadership style, is when I get people in the right place, I want to see what they can do first. And I kind of want to adapt what I have going on to fit their strengths and weaknesses, because if I try to put them into a mold that's not exactly what their best assets are, it's going to be a lot more resistance and a lot more accidents, a lot more work. So it's kind of good to get your people in the places that they're the most powerful with, and then empower them to go and to be the best that they can be. Because the better they are, then the better that you are with your team. I'm also really big on the power of positive thinking and manifesting. So a good way to do this is to always have your goals set out, and with my employees and my team, even my circle of friends and family, I like to discuss our goals and to have them actually take it from a conscious thought into writing it down on paper, because when it comes from an idea onto paper, it actually becomes real. And it increases the rate of those coming to fruition by 40%, I think was the last stat that I read. So it's really important to empower your people and to get them to know what their goals are and to write them down and to achieve it together as a team.
All right, that's a tough one for me because two of my project managers have left my company and started their own construction company. Two of my other managers have gone on and they say, oh, listen, you inspired me to start my own business. So apparently I'm creating entrepreneurs, okay? And that's a great thing, right? So I guess my leadership style has always been more entrepreneur in spirit. When I bring in a team member, I'm all about teaching them, putting them in a learning environment. Because a lot of times I hire younger or more millennials, or I hire some professionals looking for that intentional, what you call it? Intentional self-employment. So not knowing it, I encourage them to go start their own business. And I'm very much big on, I am such a lifelong learner, and we're in a library, so I absolutely love reading. So I'm always giving them a book that I want them to read, that'll help them grow in an area that I see where they need. So when I think about, as a small business owner, leadership, we always have such a small team. So I'm always teaching them how our customers are, like, treat this project like it's your last. Because at the end of the day, that project is what's going to help us get the next one. I do believe that, and that's why we don't really advertise, because a lot of the work that comes to us is by referral. And so, I don't know, I just, when I'm managing my team, man, I give them the autonomy to go out and to do what we need to do to make the project happen, but do it with such excellence that people remember us. And then I don't want them to remember, oh yeah, that's a black female-owned company. No. I want you to remember that we do excellent work, and that because of that, and that's what I kind of feed into our team. When we show up, we show out, and we be present, and we make sure that we leave a mark, that we do really good work. So I'm all about that inspirational. For those of you like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Can you imagine being around me all day with all of this energy? I'm telling you, I love it. And at the end of the day, you know, we go home and we're ready to start. Like, they're like, what we gonna do tomorrow? I'm like, you already know what you're gonna do. They wanna hang out with me, which is a great thing. But I'm too very inspirational. I guess they call it transformational leadership. And I'm very charismatic too, because I do want to inspire people who work with me. I want you to leave the room ready to go take on the world. And I do that in my office as well. And it's I'm telling you, it's empowering, and it makes you leave ready to move mountains. And then we look at strategy. Strategy, I'm really big on, you know, what are the, she mentioned goals, what are the steps it's going to take to get there. Don't look at the obstacles, because we're going to always have these obstacles, right? Look at, okay, if I have to break it down into little micro steps to get to, you know, the next big step, then let's do that. And that's what we do. If we have a project that's quite difficult, because we do solve our customers' problems, then we talk it through and we work it through, and we do scenarios. And believe it or not, they end up working because we've done our thinking and process ahead of time. So that's how I lead. I lead how I work, if that makes sense. And it's been very successful for my company. Thank you.
Mel.
Thank you. I'm ready to follow all three of you guys. So, leadership style, I'm a big collaborator, and I will own that. I always need to be collaborating, you know, which isn't for everybody. Not everybody loves to get out the whiteboard and the sticky notes and create a big vision, but I definitely take from the pieces that you guys shared with collaboration, and then while you're collaborating, you can really see what pieces your team is passionate about. They, you know, will shine in certain moments, and then you can let them run off with that piece, and then you know that everybody at the table has a piece that they own and that they believe in, and that they have the strengths to achieve. So that's what I got.
And in case anybody's keeping track of keywords I just picked up during this piece: transformational, engaging, empowering, positive mental attitude, inspirational. I like show up, show out. All right, I like that one. And collaborating, because I feel collaboration is the 21st century form of competition. All right, you know, you can't beat them, join them. All right, and you nailed that. Okay, this one's a little more sensitive. Yeah, this is a little more sensitive. And I know it doesn't happen. Nobody will ever admit to it happening, but I'm a realist. If you encountered it along the way, how did you handle sexist intimidation? Or how did you handle somebody saying, you're going to do what? But you're a woman. All right? I can imagine how you handle that. That person. But please share with us. It is a world that you have to make for yourself. So how do you carve that piece out and do it successfully?
I think that's Oh, okay, a woman in construction. Oh, yeah.
Where's your heart at?
I know, it's raining. Oh yeah, so I've had to deal with that out the gate, you know, but I think it's cute.
I'm pretty sure nobody else in the room had that word in mind.
And when they do it now, I'm like, oh, I still got it. You know, I'm just teasing. But seriously, in a professional environment, in construction, we deal with it a lot. But you have to set the stage. When I first started, I worked in the field, so meaning I was out in the field in construction. And you know, the guys, they'll be like, oh, hey, they'll whistle at you. And you know, I'm nicely, people tell me all the time, listen, you just told me off with a smile. So I'll correct them and just let them know, you know that's not professional on site to be doing stuff like that. Sometimes you just have to speak up and let them know that that's not acceptable. And I'm really good at doing that. And once you do that, and they learn to respect you for it, they really do. And not only that, when they find out that I'm the project manager, they better stop doing that. And then they're like, oh, my bad, I didn't know that's the wrong. Because as a project manager, you're really over the entire project. So, you know, from a respect level, a lot of times I've seen women who've come to me because they're dealing with that issue, they don't speak up. They just allow it to continue to happen. And sometimes it's just a matter of saying, don't do that. You know, I don't like that you're doing it. Now, if it continues on, I've seen that happen as well. Then they call me Mama Placenta. I will go in and have that conversation, you know, and let them know. Technically now, with all the Me Too and sexual harassment, you know, it's not, you know, people are not doing it as much as they used to, at least in my environment. And maybe because I don't accept it. Was that what you was asking? I hope that helps.
I think that was great. I think I see this more so whenever I'm in the negotiating phase with males, specifically over terms and dollar amounts. And I think that, and I don't know if it's based on the fact that I am a female or that I'm a 4'11", you know, minority female that's walking in the room asking and willing to, you know, kind of put my foot down whenever it comes to certain terms and conditions relevant to the service agreement or even the money associated. And it's also being really willing to walk away and knowing your value, knowing your price, and then I love getting that call back. That callback is awesome, and it's like, Jana, you know, let's bring it back in, and let's just talk through this. Absolutely, we can continue to talk through it. But at the end of the day, walking away with ultimately the number that's set and being willing to just hold your ground. I think it's the surprise look. I think it's the shock. But again, not sure what it's attributed to, but I think it just goes back to being very comfortable with yourself, knowing your worth, and knowing how the quality of the work, and just being willing to walk away if needed.
Absolutely. I mean, confidence is key when it comes to that. I mean, if it's worth your time at all to even address it, then hey, by the way, that doesn't make me feel comfortable, and it's also illegal, so how about we start again? And, you know, if you don't feel like saying that, then just ignore it. I mean, move on. You have excuses or you have success. You can't have both. So don't let something get in your way of being a badass that day. That's pretty much it. Confidence.
Right on. You guys are killing it. I think, you know, a big one for me is that I don't let it bother me. I just keep on going. You know, like you said, it's cute, you know? You look at that, you're like, okay, yeah, sure. Thanks for that perspective. And you just keep on moving. You know, one thing that I've run into a lot with, you know, trying to look for properties and talk to people and meeting people, you get that, oh, you know, two pretty ladies, two pretty girls. Excuse me, I hear that, pretty girls trying to do this, you know? And that's the biggest one that gets to me, that I have to smile and nod and be like, yep, pretty girls, getting it done.
Can I follow up with
Yeah,
something?
please do, please do.
I do want to share this. When you're we have women here who are in IT and construction project management, which is a male-dominated industry. I'm going to give you this advice that my mom she gave this to us. When you know your industry, when you know your work, it builds that confidence that you need. So when you're faced with inappropriate, whether it's telling you you're not competent enough or telling you whether, you know, the whistle calls or whatever you know, at the end of the day, I will say this, when my counterparts see the level of knowledge I have in my field, that in itself gives them more respect for me, if that makes sense. And when they see that, I've noticed over the years, I don't even have to deal with that kind of stuff. Because I show up like I show up ready to work, and it's not about that. So sometimes we have to be careful how we lead the agenda too, you know, in the conversation, and don't allow, if it starts off like that, it's going to continue. So that's just my advice. And so as I've grown as a leader or business, I'm very mindful of that when I'm in a room with all the time with a bunch of men. Oh, it's okay. You know, but I know because of that, they've learned to have that respect for me. And so I really have not had to deal with that as I've gotten older.
Well, all of you have come out of the startup and are into your businesses and you're ongoing.
Yeah.
As a success, and I'll call each of you a success in what you're doing. What do you struggle with now? I mean, you know, what keeps you up at night now at this stage of your business?
I can go first. So I would definitely say I'm still in the startup phase. I'm right at that peak where you go from startup to actually the business is thriving and doing stuff. And so I struggle with a lot. I think that, you know, this is really hard. Starting a business is really hard. And you have unexpected surprises that happen from, you know, a partner pulling out or losing funding or, you know, imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is real, y'all. You know, you see other people doing it and you're like, who am I up here, you know, to do this or to take this on? And I think that is something that I really struggle with is checking in and being able to take that time to visualize what it is that I want to happen and not get stuck in what everybody else is doing and what everyone else is thinking, and just know that the vision that I have and the knowledge that I have and where I'm going is going to happen. Right?
For me, this is an easy question because, I mean, it's very personal, but my biggest struggle, it has a lot to do with reacting to other people. I am very empathetic, so I can take on someone's feelings and emotions really quickly. Personally, that's just how I am. So I'm consciously working on not letting other people's anxiety or anger or frustration, when they come at me, I'm working on not reacting to that, and it's taking a lot of work and trying to actually understand how the brain works and how those processes and functions are communicating has helped a lot. There's a couple books that I would recommend. One is called Thinking Fast and Slow, and it discusses your amygdala and your frontal cortex, and cavemen didn't have the frontal cortex, it was just the amygdala. And that is your flight or fight response, which goes off all the time. So your frontal cortex developed over many, many, many years, and that's actually the part of the brain that helps you realize that right now is happening and is scary, but if you do X, Y, and Z, then it will get better and tomorrow will be fine. So, you know, when someone comes to me with a lot of anxiety, a lot of frustration, I am trying to coax my amygdala into knowing that it's okay, don't take that on, and really keep myself where I want to be to help that person lead in the right direction and continue to be productive. Since I don't have any time for that. So
I hope you're taking notes, Tom. This is good stuff. So a great philosopher once said, "More money, more problems." So it's awesome. It's amazing to land, those $100,000 contracts, right? And it's like that thrill. It's awesome. Close the deal, and you're like, wait, what do I do? And so it's a constant of then once you get it, you have to have the right team in place to execute, right? And then making sure that you're prioritizing, still taking care of all your other clients as well. And then how do you continue to grow? So I still struggle every day, but the struggle is, what do you prioritize, and is everyone working, and so managing the team, and then making sure you're getting more sales to sustain the volume that you're at, because you don't want to go backwards. It is a constant struggle of prioritizing and just reworking your even to-do list and priorities. So.
Oh, okay. For me, I have several. One is me, because in the beginning, I did not want to let nothing go. My business was my baby. And so I've had to kind of grow through that in order to grow your business, you really have to build a team. And a team that you can trust, a team that's competent, and that you can let them go and do the work. As an entrepreneur, I think that was one of the most challenging things for me. And I struggled with that for years. Even though my business continued to grow, that was one of my biggest struggles. Another struggle is focus. As an entrepreneur, I know y'all have like 1 million ideas a day. I'm telling you, like every morning I got this note card, I done wrote down some more ideas. And that's one thing as an entrepreneur, when we get into the business environment, we start seeing needs here and needs there and gaps here and gaps there. So as an entrepreneur, you come up with all these other business ideas. And so that's not a bad thing, but it'll take you off, it'll distract you from what you need to be doing in your business. And I'm good at distractions, y'all. I'm really good at that. So staying focused. Okay, and then the last thing is maintaining your business. So once you grow and scale your business, which is awesome, once you grow and scale your business, once you grow, the one thing that I've noticed is the maintaining piece of your business. Making sure, you just touched on that, making sure that recurring business is coming in, because now your overhead is astronomical compared to when you first started your business. You have folks on payroll now, you just have all these other expenses that come on. If you buy commercial buildings, you got the insurance, you just got all of that other stuff to think about. So making sure that we're building a business that can grow and that we can, tap into other client base. Like me, we do a lot of work with school districts and colleges. So who else need our service? So as business owners, we're always out there looking to see who else can we serve. And that can be a challenge. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up because I got a little minute mark.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If you haven't noticed, I have noticed that at least 60%, if not 70% of the audience here today is female. Okay? And I figure that you're the reason that they're here. Right? And I know they've got questions, but I have a question for everybody in the room. Of females in the room, how many of you are either in your own business or considering starting your own business? Raise your hands. Look at that.
Yes.
Look at that. All right, so I'm going to open the floor. Questions.